So James, when your GP came and said to you, I think he might be on the spectrum, how did you feel? Had you heard of autism before? Was it something that surprised you? How did you feel about?
You've heard these terms, I had a job where I was part of doing disabled transport, so I'm no stranger to the terms. The problem was that, in all honesty, yes, it was offensive. It comes across as offensive when someone labels your child. You're not prepared for it, you're not expecting it, and you certainly didn't want it. That's not to say you don't deal with it, but it's not something you would wish, And so when someone says that to you, you do get offended. It is hard. It's hard to accept. You accept it because the only way forward for your child is going to be to accept it and move on.
Yeah.
The quicker you can do that, I would give any of that advice. The quicker you can do that, the better.
That's cool.
It will help you in terms of immediately stop thinking it's your fault. So
but at the time, it's really confronting.
At the time, it's confronting.
Really
you blame yourself as any parent would.
And for me, when I hear that from families, I'm always saying it's never your fault.
No.
It's nothing that you've done, despite the fact that that's the way you might feel. It's just how it happens.
Yes, that's 100% right.
So for you, Sue, how was it when you first heard the term and thought this might be autism? What was it how did you feel?
I felt, and this may sound weird, but it was the way I felt relieved, because finally I knew that my grandson had a diagnosis, and to me that then opened up a pathway for me to move forward. It was very difficult to form as a grandparent a close bond with my grandson up until that point, because he didn't like cuddles, he didn't like being touched, he didn't talk. I'd ask him questions, I'd get no response. At age 4, he wasn't even calling me Nana. So it was very difficult to establish bonds. But once we knew he was on the spectrum, I then became an internet warrior to look at ways of engaging with Keith. Even, like, I didn't even know until I searched, there are particular toys that are well suited for autistic children. And I wasn't even looking at those toys when I was buying them gifts and presents. So it made things better.
And isn't it funny that you felt one way, but you felt the other way?
Yeah.
Do you feel now, James, that you have turned that corner and you now feel that this has been helpful?
Well, yes. There's the more information you can get, the more people, the more services. As soon as the diagnosis hits, from that point onwards, you're on a path to get the services you require, the assistance that you need, as well as your child. It's not just about the child; it's about yourself. Mental health for both parties is important. If your child's having a bad day, you're having a bad day. If you are, so is the child. It's as simple as that. And I think, that's why I say the first thing is acceptance. It's the hardest part. It's a lot like anything in life, but the moment you accept it, it's not fixable. Yeah. It's something that and even more stranger is it's not like accepting it's a rainy day. There's rules for a rainy day. The moment someone says your child is on the spectrum, your rules are your rules for your situation. You can't even look at the next situation next to you and apply the same rules. You have to overcome and adapt at a level that not many people will ever see.
And you're so right. If you know one autistic child, you know one autistic child.
That's right.
Everyone is so different.
That's right. I'm fortunate that my son is he is high functioning. He's verbal. He is very intelligent. I'm grateful for that, because I've met a lot of other autistic children, and some families are not that lucky. Yeah. So I would say that I have difficulties on different levels, where some children aren't verbal. I have a son who is, and that leads to very vast array of wants and demands and knowledge and everything else that he wants, and he will seek it out. If you won't give it to him in a controlled environment, he will find it himself. That is just the way they work.